Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I am Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a post-fight show for UFC Fight Night. Holm versus Correia. This was an amazing event, top to bottom, from the first prelim to the main event. I was ecstatic. I mean, you had Russell Dome on one of the early prelims, who did a great job, KO punches round one against Ho Kwok. And yeah, this card, like, honestly, like I said in my pre-fight show, if you took a title fight and put it on top of the main card, you could have just made this into a pay-per-view main card as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Holm vs. Correia could make a great co-main event for a major pay-per-view. And then you got Andrei Arlovsky and Dong Yeon Kim and Dos Anjos and Safad. I mean, all these established veterans and stars in the sport. So yeah, this is a post-fight rundown of the main card, and let's get started. So, man, like this main card, wow. Okay, so the main event was a women's bantamweight clash with Holm versus Correia, and the first two rounds were really lackluster. There was not a lot of movement, not a lot of engaging in the striking, and I was kind of scratching my head going, well, Holm, like, she's a world-class striker. Correia is okay at striking, but nowhere near the magnitude of Holm. So why don't Holm just tee off on her and just, I mean, it should be a cakewalk. Well, she was just finding her reach and taking her time, and it was driving me nuts. But, I mean, maybe she knew something that we all didn't about Correia. And, yeah, she then in round 3 gets a KO, head kick, and and finishes the fight 1 minute and 9 seconds in round 3. It was devastating knockout. It was reminiscent of Holm knocking out Ronda Rousey, winning the title, and so this makes you think of Holm as a title contender again. Coming off 3 losses, she needed this win more than anything else to resurrect her career against a ranked opponent and an established star in the sport, and she did just that. And I think Correia will be back in some shape or form. Hopefully we see her again in the UFC. Big fan of her as well. And yeah, this was a great main event. Then in the heavyweight division, we had, in the co-main event, we had Marcin Tybura versus Andrei Arlovsky. And yeah, on my fantasy and on my pre-fight show, I picked Arlovsky by knockout. I thought he would be able to knock out Marcin, but he tried at moments, and it looked like he had bits and pieces of chances. But once Marcin got those takedowns, it was hard for Andrei Arlovsky to recover. Round 1 and round 3 I had for Marcin, and then round 2, you could say Andrei possibly. The judges had it 29-28, and then 29-27 and 28-27 for Marcin. So they even agreed that Andrei had his moments in this fight, and yeah, it was unanimous decision win for Marcin, basically due to the takedowns and dominant positions. And it was a good fight and a good clean win for Marcin, and establishes him in the heavyweight division. Then in the welterweight division, we had Covington versus Dong Yeon Kim. Covington, he's one of those guys that's been flying under the radar. I believe he's like 7-1 in the UFC right now, and he's just killing it right now in the welterweight division. And this is the first big opponent he's had that I know of in Dong Yeon Kim. Dong Yeon Kim's been fighting the UFC for years, and he made it look easy. He got 30-25, 30-26, and 30-27 across the board with the judges. And yeah, Covington just was able to dominate in the striking, in the ground and pound, and the wrestling, and avoid the judo tosses for the most part of Kim. And it was impressive. And I think Covington is a prospect at welterweight at this point. I mean, you gotta come to terms with it, whether we all like it or not. Colby Covington is a guy that he's going to be, in the top upper echelon of the division before you know it. And I mean, because he has great wrestling, and he was able to deal with a high-level fourth-degree black belt in judo and Kim, and his striking is pretty well established, and so the guy can mix things up, and it will take a good opponent to really test him, I think. I think the top 5 guys may be able to test him, but we won't know till we get there. But for now, for here and now, Colby Covington is definitely looking like a prospect in the division. Then, also in the welterweight division, we had Rafael dos Anjos versus Tariq Safadine. Tariq Safadine, former Strikeforce welterweight champ, going up against former UFC lightweight champion Dos Anjos, making this big splash at welterweight. Dos Anjos, oh boy, I knew he was going to win this fight. He got 30-27 on 2 of the judges and 29-28 on the third. And, wow. Dos Anjos did his thing on the striking, and he just, like I said on my pre-fight show, he put on a striking clinic on Safadine and got the job done. And he made it look fairly easy, but I mean, there are moments where Safadine landed a good shot or two, but Dos Anjos, I think, is a guy that we should be looking at welterweight too. And honestly, I think looking at the matchups, possibly Dos Anjos versus Covington would be a good matchup. I think that would really test Covington's striking ability and submission defense, and Dos Anjos testing him with a high caliber wrestler in Covington. So I think that would be a good matchup at welterweight. So there you have it. There is my post-fight rundown of this amazing main card. I can't say enough about it. If you don't have Fight Pass, get it and watch this. Especially like half the prelim matches were amazing, and then this main card was overall fairly good. I can't really complain much about it. So there you have it, and stay tuned in the coming days for my pre-fight show for Chiesa versus Lee. And until then, see ya.